Hi dear students, a warm welcome to all of you to this new YouTube channel where we will be discussing the topics from biology. In this first video, we will be talking about the human endocrine system, and this topic is based on the third chapter of class 10th biology named Chemical Messages for Homeostasis. Our endocrine system is responsible for controlling and coordinating all activities in our body along with our nervous system. And this endocrine system is made up of glands which we call endocrine glands. And we call them endocrine because their secretions are produced inside our body. You might already be familiar with glands like salivary gland, sweat gland, etc. And as you know, their secretions are produced outside our body and hence they are called exocrine glands. Then, these endocrine glands do not have its own duct. You know that our lymphatic system have its own duct, then our blood circulatory system have blood vessels, but like that, this endocrine system do not have its own duct, and hence we also call them ductless glands. Then the secretions produced by endocrine glands are commonly called as hormones, and these hormones regulate cellular activities and hence we call them chemical messages to cells. And as I have told you already, since these endocrine glands do not have its own duct, the hormones are transported with the help of blood. ഹ്യൂമൻ ബോഡിയിലെ എൻഡോക്രൈൻ സിസ്റ്റത്തെ കുറിച്ചാണ് നമ്മൾ സംസാരിച്ചുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്നത്. നമ്മുടെ ബോഡിയിലെ എല്ലാ ആക്ടിവിറ്റീസിനെയും കൺട്രോൾ ചെയ്യുകയും നിയന്ത്രിക്കുകയും ചെയ്യുന്ന ഫംഗ്ഷനാണ് എൻഡോക്രൈൻ സിസ്റ്റം നിർവഹിക്കുന്നത്. Then this system is made up of endocrine glands which is also called as ductless glands. ഇനി എൻഡോക്രൈൻ ഗ്ലാൻഡ്സ് പ്രൊഡ്യൂസ് ചെയ്യുന്ന സെക്രീഷൻസിനെ നമ്മൾ ഹോർമോൺസ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നു. സെല്ലിന്റെ ആക്ടിവിറ്റീസിനെ എല്ലാം നിയന്ത്രിക്കുന്നത് കൊണ്ട് ഹോർമോൺസിനെ കെമിക്കൽ മെസ്സേജസ് ടു സെൽസ് എന്നും പറയാറുണ്ട്. ഇനി ഈ ഹോർമോൺസ് നമ്മുടെ ബ്ലഡിൽ കൂടിയാണ് ബോഡിയിലെ എല്ലാ പാർട്ടിലേക്കും ട്രാൻസ്പോർട്ട് ചെയ്യപ്പെടുന്നത്. All hormones do not act upon all the cells. Here in this video you can see two different cells. One cell is having a green colored receptors on cell membrane while the next cell is having red colored receptors on its cell membrane. Now a green colored hormone is coming to the scenario. There that green hormone cannot attach to the red receptor because each receptor is designed for a particular type of hormone. It is represented using colors in this video. Now the green colored hormone can only attach to the green colored receptor, and as a result of this it will bring about changes in the cellular activities. Now a red colored hormone is coming and it can only attach to the red colored receptors, and when a hormone attached to a receptor in the cell, it will bring about changes in the cellular activities. This is a diagram taken from the 10th class textbook. Here the red colored region represents the blood vessel, and inside the blood vessel you can see hormones, and these hormones have a pointed tip at one end. So this hormone can only attach to those receptors having a shape similar to that of its cell. Here one cell is having a receptor with a rounded edge while the another one is having a receptor with a pointed edge. Hence this hormone having a pointed edge can only attach to the receptor with a pointed edge like its cell. So this hormone and receptor complex act like a lock and key. അതായത് ഇവിടെ നമുക്ക് ഈ ഹോർമോൺസിന്റെ ഒരു എൻഡ് പോയിന്റഡ് ആയിട്ട് കാണാൻ സാധിക്കും. അപ്പോൾ ആ പോയിന്റഡ് എൻഡ് ഫിറ്റ് ചെയ്യുന്ന തരത്തിലുള്ള റിസപ്റ്ററിലേക്ക് മാത്രമേ ഈ ഹോർമോണിന് അറ്റാച്ച് ചെയ്യാനായിട്ട് സാധിക്കുള്ളൂ. So you have to remember that only those cells having specific receptors can receive a specific hormone. Each hormone molecule binds with the receptor to form a hormone receptor complex. Following this, enzymes are activated within the cell and certain changes occur in cellular activities. ഹോർമോൺ റിസപ്റ്റർ കോംപ്ലക്സ് ഫോം ചെയ്യുന്നതിന്റെ ഫലമായിട്ട് സെല്ലിനുള്ളിലെ എൻസൈംസ് ആക്ടിവേറ്റഡ് ആവുകയും അത് സെല്ലുലർ ആക്ടിവിറ്റീസിലേക്ക് ലീഡ് ചെയ്യുകയും ചെയ്യുന്നു. Here is a diagram showing all of our endocrine glands. Actually, each of us have 9 endocrine glands. The first 8 endocrine glands will be same in case of both males as well as females, but the 9th endocrine gland will be testis in males while it is ovaries in females. So let us see which are the endocrine glands. The hypothalamus, pituitary and pineal glands are located in the head region, while the thyroid, parathyroid and thymus glands are located in the neck and chest regions. Then the adrenal gland and pancreas is located in our abdominal region. Then this testis will be located outside the abdominal cavity in males, while ovaries will be located inside the abdominal cavity in females. Now, in this video, we are going to discuss about our pituitary gland. Here, the pituitary gland is shown in a pink color. This is a magnified image of the pituitary gland. Here you can see that the pituitary gland is actually attached to our hypothalamus. So the location of pituitary gland is just below the hypothalamus. Then this gland consists of 2 lobes. Lobe is a structure with a curved or rounded region. So as you can clearly see in this picture, our pituitary gland consists of 2 lobes. We call the first lobe as anterior lobe and the other one is posterior lobe. Anterior means the lobe towards the front, while posterior means lobe towards the back. Since this gland is made up of 2 lobes, we generally call it bilobed gland. So you have to remember that our pituitary gland is bilobed and it is located just below our hypothalamus. Now, our pituitary gland is called as the master gland because it secretes hormones that we call tropic hormones. The peculiarity of these tropic hormones is that they are capable of regulating the functions of other glands. You know that glands are structures which are capable of producing secretions called hormones which regulate all the activities of our body. Tropic hormones are special because these hormones actually regulate the functions of other glands. Now here is a cartoon image showing how the pituitary gland becomes the master gland. You can see a music director and the members of his band. So the anterior pituitary acts like the music director because all other glands like ovary, testis, thyroid and adrenal function according to the instructions of the anterior pituitary. Now we are going to the topic hormones produced by pituitary gland, and the first hormone that we have to mention here is somatotropin because this somatotropin is responsible for our growth. So it is also called as somatotropic hormone or STH and human growth hormone or GH. And this somatotropin or growth hormone promotes the growth of our body during our growth phase. Here in this image you can see 2 men. One of them is really tall while the other man is really short. Actually these 2 conditions are occurring due to the imbalanced production of somatotropin. The tall man is having a condition that we call gigantism, and it occurs due to the increased production of somatotropin during growth phase. And this short man is having a condition called dwarfism, and it occurs due to the decreased production of somatotropin during our growth phase. Here you can see the comparison between a normal average guy with a person having gigantism and also with a person having dwarfism. Now there is another abnormal condition that occurs due to the imbalanced production of somatotropin, and here this condition that we call acromegaly is happening due to the excessive production of somatotropin after the growth phase. Here the first image shows the face of a man having acromegaly, while the second figure shows the comparison between the hands of a normal person and a person having acromegaly. So here you have to remember 2 points. The first one is this acromegaly condition occurs due to excessive production of somatotropin after growth phase. Then this condition is characterized by the growth of bones on face, jaws and fingers. Here is an X-ray image showing comparison between the skull of a normal person and a person having acromegaly. The second X-ray image shows the comparison between the hand and foot of a normal person and a person having acromegaly. Now we can discuss about other hormones of pituitary in next topic. So stay tuned. Thank you.